Hi guys, welcome to another webinar that we have. It's been a while. I'm very sorry for having you guys waited for quite some time for us to do any webinar. I think we've been quite busy developing the new, gathering a lot of data and then trying to build this couple new features. And I know it's still in the pipeline, but it's a bit more complex than we previously thought. But I promise it will probably come out sometimes end of August, beginning of September. That's the approximate timeline. In the meantime, we're still building some enhancement for our tool, particularly for the AI optimization. So if you start using the AI, you will start seeing the content that churn out from most of the templates have improved quite a bit. But with the improvement of those templates, it will comes with some of the changes in the UI UX as well, which also takes some time. Hopefully, we'll be able to deliver that soon in by a couple of weeks time or end of August. This is actually a playback of a videos that supposedly I need to do live tomorrow morning. But because due to unforeseen circumstances and I have something urgent I have to take care of, so we decide to just kind of pre-record this and then have it turn on live during tomorrow morning, so that it fit with everyone's schedule and it will fit with the calendar which we propose. So very sorry about that. But we already received quite a bit of questions, and so I still gonna go over those questions, and any questions that you may have at the end of this session, please leave it all in the comments. We will collect them all and then probably will have a short videos where I explain or I try to answer as many as I can on those Q&A that appear during this webinar. So in this webinar today, we will explore Wildcard search use case and how you can integrate that into your workflow. But before we go into exploring Wildcard, I think it's important to understand why it's important to use Wildcard in the first place. And so in order to understand why Wildcard is important, we have to kind of go backward a little bit to understand the nature of search engines. And search engine has evolved so much in the past 5-10 years that it's no longer a place where you just try to get traffic as much as possible. When the traffic that go into your website that are non-quality traffic, like for example they go in but with no intent to buy, you no longer can capture that traffic and turn that into sales. And at the end of the day, all marketing effort has to come back to revenue driven, and either it has to be brand visibility, it has to achieve brand trust, or it has to achieve sales conversion. Otherwise, any other act, it will just be waste of resources. Like for example, if you have a bunch of keywords that rank on top and you get a bunch of organic traffic, but those traffic and those keywords does not relate to anything that you try to sell, or it doesn't reflect the brand value of your product or services, it is not relevant. So in today's age, it's very important to really truly identify a buying journeys of a customer and really understand the importance of what keyword represent. So in many of my previous sessions, I have talked about keyword are actually the representation of a demand that user have about you, about your product, service, or your brand of your company. So it's very important to understand what are these type of demands, right? So before we go into Wildcard, let's talk about the type of demands, keyword people search for on search engines. And over since we come up with Wildcard and add on with our previous experience of doing a lot of keyword research for our clients, what we realize is it doesn't matter what size of product or company that you have or the brands, how famous or important the brand or the service that you're providing. There are only two kind of brands, two kind of demands that appear on search engine when it comes to the stuff that you're selling or the things that you're trying to promote. The two big ideas. First is your brand demand. So let's say you have a product and the product has a brand. Let's say it's a purple matches, right? Or it's a matches. Let's brand it brand A. There's a and every demand we call branded demand. It's all the demand people have about that particular brand of your product. So let's say A matches sizes available, or where to buy A matches, or A matches high dimensions, A matches quality, or A matches help with back pain. So you see, everything that surrounding the brand, and those keywords that are actually surrounding the brand that you provide, there are demand around it. So this is the highest level of demand, right? Because they already know your brand, they already know your product, they already know what you provide. So you already have that awareness in their mind. Now they just want to know in a deeper level about what your brand can provide, and from there they can make the decision, right? So you have to think of this as demand capture process. You want to capture these demand that already exists on search engine. And so the first thing is know your brand, know your product and service, and then if it has a brand, you have to capture all the demand that's surrounding that brand. So that's the first type of demand. As you can see, I show you here. Companies and brands drop identify demands that keyword people search and capture them on search engines. So think of this as keyword that people search are capturing type of demands, and there are several different level of demands. So if they are demanding about your brand of the product or service, that's the highest level, because they're already aware that they need that service, and now they know that you are one of the options, and they want to know what you can offer. So it's like they already gone very far away from their buyer journey. So it's the brand demand. So if you are the brand owner of that product or service, or even you are that brand, the company is the brand that you try to do SEO or to try to rank, it is extremely important for you to identify right away all of these demands surrounding your brand and be the first choice of information. So if they search anything relating to this kind of brand keyword, you better be number one, because you are the owner. If you're not number one, then they'll have questions like, how come I search about this brand and they're not even on search engine, and there's someone else out there and talking about them? So it's like it's kind of a oxymoron when it happens. So what you have to do is, first of all, identified all the brand keyword, all the brand demand that users have regarding to your brand. So that's the highest level. First thing you have to understand. So I was saying here, brand demand, keyword people search that represent their demand about the brand of the company, product or service that they provide. They are everything people want to explore about your brand, company, product, service. As the owner of the brand, you should be the number one source of information providing for your users, and your content should match with their intent as tightly as possible. So it means that there's a lot of big brands out there that they actually have not done this very well. Google just automatically match their brand with the intent. So for example, if I've seen this before, for example, let's say Arsenal transfer new. So that's one of the keyword, and if the user search for that, the website, for one, Arsenal is not on top. Secondly, the website that matched with the intent was actually arsenal.com. So it's not even the page where it talk about transfer news of Arsenal, even though that keyword is such a high volume keyword. So you see, big brands, a lot of time they kind of disregard this search engine as a market. And so could you, right? You own a certain brand or services, and that could be something that you are missing out. So first of all, make sure that you capture this brand keyword, capture them constantly, come back and revisit and see, because it's pop up new every day, right? Particularly for bigger brands. So if you don't have bigger brands, then perhaps the keyword or demand, let's say you are secondary kind of website, you just start out, or you kind of already have a product but they're not very well branded and a lot of people asking about it. So then you have to now capture the non-branded keyword. So non-branded keyword actually break down to two types. So non-branded keyword, there are two types of demands on that. The first is direct demand, and the second is non-direct demand. So direct demand, okay, this is a keyword which people search for in regard to the product or service you provide, but not specifically about your brand. So for example, purple matches or matches, right? So purple matches is the brand, right? They already kind of figure out every demand people possibly have regarding their brand, but they kind of forget about matches is the product and service that they provide. So the demand of users regarding matches are a direct demand, yet they don't really asking for the brand itself. So for example, what is the best matches for back pain? So they have a demand about buying of matches. They have a demand to know about matches. They have to demand about to learn about matches. Yet, purple is not there. So then, do you want to make sure these are the keyword which you need to compete with other brands? Because this is just I have a demand, and who are the suppliers on Google that could provide me with this type of information, and therefore you actually, this is the battleground of every brand. So the direct demand is the highest sub battleground. This is where this keyword should cover everything in relation to your product or service you offer, from the information how, what, which, why, to consideration like your brand versus other brand. There's a comparison to transactional, like best place to purchase. So you see, like if you search on Google, you'll see that this is such a huge battleground. How can I find, how do matches help back pain, for example, right? What are brands of matches that help back pain? Which brand of matches that help back pain? You know, then to consideration like purple matches versus Casper matches, right? Or transactional, best place to purchase matches. So these are all of those keywords where every brand try to compete, and you want to make sure that you focus your resources in here once you cover your branded keyword. So let me repeat, first layer, brand keyword, make sure that you are number one, because you are the owner of the brand, you should be number one. The non-branded keyword is the direct demand, and the direct demand is like every demand that regarding the product service that you provide. So this is where the battleground is. Tofu, mofu, bofu, everything the tool will use, you use the tool is for this almost for this part. And this is where you want to focus your resources in building your content pillar structure, like tofu, mofu, bofu, and really dig deep in understanding demand behavior of the end users to capture and compete with your competitors. So this is where you're trying to be, right? And this is where we'll come back later on how Wildcard can really help. Wildcard could help actually throughout this whole set of demand generation, demand capture journey. So then the second part of non-branded demand is actually indirect demand. So keyword people, the indirect demands are keyword people search for, which have the intention or relation to the problem, product and service you're solving. So let's go back to the example of matches. Let's say people would have a demand of, I have hard time, you know, what remedies could for me to help me sleep better, right? How can I sleep with less back pain? So there's problems that they have. They're not sure what the problem and the solution is yet. You could be one of the solution. The product or service you provide could be one of the solution. This is the beginning of every buyer journey. Before even they know that there is a solution, there's a problem. So this is the first, basically the first phase of their journey. I have a problems. I don't know what are solution. Give me choices. So these are keyword people search where they don't know if you are the solution provider. This exists before any funnel are built. These keywords are often long tail, vague, and question based. This is where you want to utilize to understand the original pain point of your customers, building a pre-funnel model to drive customer behavior toward your direct demand, then to your brand demand. So as you can see that we are start building this, I would say, demand buyer journey. So you start with knowing what you provide, and you make sure you cover everything surrounding the things that you provide. You have an iPhone. You want to make sure that Apple should make sure that they are the first source of information when it comes to everything Apple information, iPhone information, right? And then there's a direct demand. Apple, for example, should cover all the demand regarding to what type of smartphone that is best for dark lighting, for example, right? So that's the direct demand. And then there's one where I want to chat with my wife overseas, what type of product should I buy? So you see, there's a problems there's no solution yet. So then you provide solution. You will make sure you want to capture this. You then will provide them a solution, drive them into direct demand. From direct demand, they'll see, oh, this solution appear again, go into branded demand. So that's the journey in which I kind of draw here, from indirect to direct and brand demand. And in between this, there will always be a group of your user persona that fit with each of this group. So make sure when you build almost a keyword research planning, you have to keep this in mind, that you always will have a strategy to cover your bases. Brand demand, everything around your brand, your product, your service, the things that you know people, when they look for you, they specifically want to know, you cover that. This happen mostly with bigger brands, bigger company, because they actually generate, their brand generate demand. But let's say if you are a middle-sized company, you sell something that not many people are looking for, know about yet. So you will want to battleground this, right? You will want to make sure that you find every possible way to capture your demand, the people who are looking for this type of pain point that you provide in this channel, the direct demand channel. And then for newer people, or even the people that, for everyone, I think for all of the company out there, you will always need to invest part of your resources in the direct demand channel. The things where the problem have just arrived, it's an opportunity, right? And you start to capture that opportunity from very early up. Maybe out of 100 people, you will get like 10. But from these 10 people, if you can direct them into direct demand, there's a very high chance they will go into brand and then in turn convert to conversion. This whole journey will help you do what? It will help you do a few things. So the first is it will help you to gain your brand visibility, right? And users, when they search and they see you, it's like, wow, I see you when and where I needed you most. Right? So if you are a website, it's like you are a brand on Google, you want to make sure that is being answered. Whatever they have regarding your brand, the direct demand or indirect demand, if you are there, you will have brand visibility because you're always there with these sort of like demand that they have in regarding to the product or service you sell. And when you have brand visibility, the second things you will gain is that if you consistently provide them with valuable information and quality information, they will in fact have a brand trust, or at least consider you as brand authority. So brand authority is then become like a source of truth. Oh, whenever I want to buy matches or whenever I want to know information about matches, I'll go into purple.com. So things like that, you want to keep in mind that you will achieve those two things. And the byproduct of these two very important things on search engines is brand loyalty and sales, right? And that's every marketing channel. Please be reminded that that's your end goal. It's not about how many keywords you can rank or how many traffic you can get. I mean, organic traffic and keyword ranking, that's all wonderful, but it doesn't really bring home money. It doesn't really bring home the revenue and the sales and bring your brand that hit directly to the demand. It's no longer the age where people kind of blindly search on stuff, because you search Google every day. We have become so smart when we start searching for things, and Google has become so smart in matching whatever we are trying to ask with the corresponding source of truth. So therefore, it's very important for you to first know exactly what that demand is, as tightly as possible, then direct your content, direct your plan, direct your content pillar and structure toward that, and make sure you capture all this demand even before you have a bunch of different kind of keyword, other kind of things you want to target on so you can gain organic traffic. Organic traffic means nothing if they don't convert to sales. Okay, so with that, let's go into some sort of case study. I mean, we'll go here. Let's go, first of all, do some example of branded demand. So what I can do here, let's say purple matches. So I think I have one here. So purple matches, you can do, there's a few way to, here. So first way you could do is you do purple matches with the star in the front. So purple matches with star in the front, then you want to see your brand plus what? What people search your brand on Google, what else does it go with it? So you can click on here and you instantly see that's 1,427 exact match. So exact match is essentially means it's matched exactly with the format in which you set out. So purple matches will be in the front. Almost match mean that purple matches maybe somewhere in between the word. You know, it could be in middle or it could be at the end, as you can see here. Or similar is like it could be purple matches or purple the matches. So they break down the keyword and then kind of see if these two keyword appear anywhere, or one or the other keyword appears some other keyword. So what you want to see here, let me zoom me out a little bit, put me over here. So you see here is you want to see this exact match first. So you see that a lot of demand people have in regard to the brand itself. So versus as people ask about warranty, cover, look at 200 here. King, pillar, size, inner box versus Casper, pad, box, outlet, sample, discount code, coupon, firm. So as you do this one single search, you could literally capture right away what are the type of demand people actually have regarding your brand, right? It doesn't have to be purple matches. It could be like a soccer team like Arsenal. It could be like an iPhone. It could be anything, as long as a brand name. And it doesn't just serve as understanding your brand demand, but it's also serve almost as a search engine brand monitoring, because you then can monitor what people are looking or asking about you. So this is one of the most basic way for you to utilize Wildcard in looking and see exactly what are those keywords that regarding to the brand this way. Then you could just cluster them, right? You can cluster all together. Let's see, purple matches, cluster, star. Activate. Then you just kind of wait and see this one, it pile up together. What are the group of topics that people are actually asking about? Once you're done with that, export them out, and then you will have almost like a list of a very clear laid out sort of demand mapping for your brand. So that's one of the first thing you could do, which is brand plus star, brand star. And from here you can do something else like star and then brand, like this one. So then you see that what do people ask or what do people say after, and then go to your brand. And from here you will actually start seeing, actually there's not many, but complaints about how to transport, how to track, how to unbox, so all of this, and you start seeing like a bunch of different sort of content as well. So you want to also cover this in your branded keyword. Then you will have something like star. Maybe how star purple matches, how much are, so you get maybe exact word, then you have to how to clean, how much, how heavy, how to transport, how long, how to unpack, how often. So you can click on, you will see that, wow, okay, so this guy really covered here all most of the things that regarding purple matches. So as you can see here, you see this brand really cover the stuff where it comes to purple, where it comes to the demand regarding their brand. How firm is purple matches? Firm is scale, right? How to clean, there's purple how to clean. How tall, there's how thickness guy. How toxic, I'm not sure if they have. Best non-toxic matches, why is it the safest? As you can see, they really do take care of their brand keyword. But imagine if a lot of this keyword they actually don't write about. That is where, if people search, any of your users search for this kind of keyword as a brand keyword, and they don't see you as the number one source of information, then you kind of lose trust here. So my The idea here is you really have your brand out and you kind of just play around with a lot of different phrases. Like this is how, but you can do what, right? What star purple matches. And which star purple matches, and then purple matches versus star. So those are all of the very general use case of branded demand that you're looking for. What is purple matches? So exact match is only 13. You can also see almost match, what to do purple matches, Vinny bag, what does purple matches cost? So as you can see here, most of this, as you can see, purple really cover a lot of this, except this keyword. As you can see, there's no purple. Oh, there it is. Difference between purple matches. What do purple matches feel like? See, they are here, but it's kind of like not really. So this is one of a perfect example where the intent is what does matches feel like, but the content is not just another matches in the box. So as you can see that there's a lot of this keyword where it's pop out. This is probably a new keyword that pop out, or is a lower keyword, opportunity keyword, but purple doesn't have a tool to identify this as quickly enough for them to cover right away this type of content so that they would be able to do that. So as you can see, that what does purple matches come with? This is the same thing. That should also be on here. You know, the title of this. I bet this one own title is by equal to 0. What happens if purple matches get wet? How to clean? Nope. How to dry? How do I dry if I got rain on? Oh, that's, yeah, but it's not from purple. As you can see, if you go deeper into most brands, you will see that a lot of the brand keyword are not really being covered. So you want to be able to make sure all of this are being covered by your brand itself, right? So that's the important of brand keyword. So just do with this, just do very simple, your brand, star your brand, how star your brand, what star your brand, which star your brand versus star, stuff like that. So that should kind of help you to cover at least 90% of everything regarding to brand demand. So you want to make sure you get this covered as much as possible. First, beyond anything, because this is your brand butter. Everyone who look for you on search engine, every demand that look for you on search engine, you should be the first ones, right? So let's go to the second kind of things. For example, let's go to the second kind of demand, which is direct demand. So as you can see here, let's use purple as the example. So purple does a really good job in branded keyword or branded demand. But what about non-branded demand? What about keyword that is in direct demand? So for matches, let's do what star matches, or let's say what star matches. I think this is pretty good. Okay, so we have about 2.6 million searches on this. Exact match about 229 is about 17,000, but I think that with this kind of keyword you could really play around with the total keyword here. So what is hybrid matches? As you click on here, you'll see that purple is nowhere to be found on the top 10, and yet their direct competitor, which is Casper, is right there with the exact keyword name. What is a hybrid matches? So you can see that Casper does a much better job of covering direct demand, right? What size screen matches? Same thing happen. You see Casper, you don't see purple, right? What splitting king matches? Same thing. You'll see Casper, you don't see purple. So you click through, you know, as you see through this, and you start kind of forming a picture in your head. Okay, so most of the direct demand that people have, purple are actually not capable of capturing. And when they're not being able to capture that kind of demand, they're losing out on a huge chunk of market where their direct competitor do a really, really good job. As you can see here, Casper appear on almost every keyword under the direct demand of what star matches. So the beauty of Wildcard is that it's really specified all the very clear intent demand people have regarding a certain product or service or solution that they're looking for. So like this, as you can see, what organic matches, what is full gasping matches. You look at all of that, you will see, you always see, wow, this one is not Usha Plush. You'll see Casper again in top 3. What's cool gel matches, you will probably see Casper. No, Casper is not here. I think they probably don't look into some of the lower keyword. This is bad bulk bias. So as you scroll and then you really dissect particularly for exact match, you see you're getting a very different insightful picture of how certain brands are doing their content strategy. And as you can see here, Casper is definitely winning on the game of SEO. Or I think I slowly don't like to use the word SEO anymore, because SEO means search engine optimization. It kind of indicates the fact that search engine is your end goal, right? It's like you optimize for search engine and that's it. That's the end goal. That's your work. But that's not your work. Your work is to capture all the demand that coming from search engine. And search engine is a marketplace. It's not your destination. It's a marketplace, just like any other marketplace. It's just Amazon. You go in there, you search for the products you want, and then you buy. So is Google. You go on Google, you search for the things you want, and then you either buy or you learn or you read or you have different demands on search engine. And what you do is you want to capture that, right? Be it informational, be it transactional, whatever that is, you want to make sure that you capture the demand. So I would like to call it search engine demand capture, right? And so your job as brand owners or people who do SEO or I don't know your background and whatnot, but please think of this as your way of understanding how you can capture all this potential demand from search engines. So this is the second case. You can do the same thing with this keyword how star matches. And from here you probably find the same thing. It's not on purple is nowhere here. Purple is nowhere here on any of these keywords. There's Casper again. There's no purple. There's Casper again. There's no purple. There's Casper again. There's no purple. So you can see that Casper really focus on their job on capturing the direct demand, and they're winning their game in so many levels of this whole entire market. And each of these, as you can see, the size of the search volume is 600,000 search volume per month. So if you are somewhere number 3 or number 2, you get about 30% of those. So make sure not only you capture your branded keyword, but then you have to do and make sure you capture your direct demand as well in terms of the product or the service that you provide. So that's going to direct demand. And there's non-direct demand. Non-direct demand, that could be a keyword like how stars sleep. How stars sleep, example. Let's just try this and see what they come down. When it comes to non-direct demand, what you could probably do is you actually you put your keyword in our topic discovery and see sort of like all the other subtopic, the things that people concerned about when it comes to matches, and then you do a search on those. You kind of just explore. So tools are there to help you explore and form your strategy. Tools are not there to solve your problems, right? So as you can see, with just Wildcard, I haven't even touched the filtering basis. Like a lot of these, I could probably do word counts to just filter out long tail keyword, but you don't even need to get there in order to kind of have these kind of things. right? How to sleep faster, that could probably be one of the demand. As you can see, Casper appear here too. Number 7, how to fall asleep fast. 26 tips to beat insomnia. Now, I don't know, this is like, this as you look at this particular example, you see that 2 brands selling the exact same product. One brand understand the demand journey of their customer, and they not only build up their sort of content strategy or research strategy from the very, very beginning of their buying journey, and they can nurture that lead all the way up to when they become a direct demand, and then they continue to nurture to branded demand. So as you can see, if someone read this, you probably, if you click on how to sleep faster, if you click on Casper, try to stay awake, turn out take, don't worry from sleep, training, do body scan, warm bath, meditation, avoid caffeine, keep the thermostat low, do yoga, put socks on, relaxing sound, hygiene, enough exercise. Wow, they really do give people a lot, very, very, very good content. So as you can see, they put up a very detailed blog, exactly how, with a lot of investment. Look at there's graphic, there's videos, meditation. They prepare a list of music for the end user, practice imagery. And as you scroll down all the way to the bottom, then you start seeing matches, duvet, original. They really set themselves up with building up and nurture their audience. So from here, people will start looking for. Perhaps they will start looking for, well, maybe I should look for a better matches. And when they look for that, they go into direct demand channel, and from there they're like, okay, which batch is the best? And they will search something like Casper versus. So we can probably do a quick search of that as well here. See, and right away you'll see 242 keyword of Casper versus, and these are all from user generated. So from here you probably will be able to explore, let's say this is Casper versus, and they versus a bunch of different brands. You can do the same thing with purple. $289 over here. So as you can see that they both sort of generate very good. Wait, no, this is purple. Is it not purple as a brand? It's actually purple as the color. So that doesn't work. Very sorry. Here, only 120 keywords. So as you right away you see the presence of 2 brands are selling almost the same thing with, I think in terms of market valuation, they both kind of equal. So you see that there's very difference in way of approaching search engine of these 2 brands. So what you want to see is and it's only 6,330. Sorry, let's go back to here and see what 25,000, 27,000 demand of people trying to compare Casper with other brand. You click on it, you probably definitely see Casper versus. That'll be one of their things. They will write about it. They make sure that they have every article possible to cover the stuff that they try to sell. Casper versus Lisa. So again, two brands, different approach. One, really understand the buyer journey and understand that search engines is there, and with the demands that are already self-generated, and their job is to capture the demand. So it's very different. So with this, basically that is the first kind of case study, use case that you could use if you are the brand owner. One, build a very good and strong buyer journey via understanding what are the demand. Are they branded? Are they non-branded? Are they direct? Are they non-direct? So once you can build those kind of channel, you will start kind of forming for each of your product lines or service line. You'll be able to kind of filter out the whole story from beginning, from things that are unknown, from just the solution, from just the problems that people have, all the way to these are some of the solution, all the way to this is our brand and what they can offer. This should be one of your storyline. It has to go from beginning to all the way to the end. So make sure you do that if you have a brand that already established. So let's say if you don't, let's say if you are a second tier website, you already have some brand, but they're not really that popular, then your focus should very much be onto everything that has to do with tofu, bofu, tofu, mofu, bofu. So tofu, mofu, bofu is everything regarding regarding the problems that they have. You know, they're looking for social solution. They already know the product that you're selling, what are they? And you want to kind of cover all of that. Like I said, same example, matches, just do how the top of the funnel are what? Top of the funnel are all the keywords that have to form with awareness. They are how to, for example, how to, star, matches, a great pool of insight. So it could be what star matches, which star matches, why, where. Just kind of play around with all of these keywords. Once you have the list out, let's say we just wait here. Once you have the list out, it's almost impossible. This is why clustering is so important. It's not just for you to quickly write your stuff, but it's also to kind of really group out the topic that you would like to see. So from here, you see everything possible of direct demand that user have regarding the solution or product, the products or service that you're selling. So from here, just simply go into cluster, and I already did something here, so you can see, you can group them, and it looks like this. What matches are the best? That's one of the cluster. We have matches how to clean, how long does the matches last, how to kill bed bugs, blow up matches, how to clean the matches, what matches for back pain, how do bed bugs look, how wide queen matches. Very clear layout of every demand group of keyword possible for you to start kind of export them out and start playing around with it, understanding. And then you can even do one more thing is once you get into here, you could just do our golden filter function to find out what keyword you want to target first. So our tool it's there for you to kind of solve this problem. You just need to kind of learn to explore and play around with different features that we provide. And so from here, you'll be able to understand just how you have about 192 group of topic. Just the how-to keyword, just how style matches. Imagine with what, which, where, and then you move into mofu, which is where people start do consideration. So tofu is awareness. Everything about they want to know, the informational phase, right? And once they pass the information, okay, I understand matches really solve back pain. These are some of the matches. I like these matches. I want to know how they compare these matches versus the other. That's go into consideration, right? That's where people start to like, whoa, I really have to consider this because it's so important. You can just start doing star versus star versus star matches, for example. There's one. Full versus queen, foam versus spring, spring versus foam. These are all a very important insight that you can see when you start selling. I'm just surrounding about these keyword matches because it's such an easy thing to showcase for you. Just how much insight that you can pull using purely wildcard play around method, and it's not even in depth. I don't, if we have more time to play more with it, I'm sure you will come up with some incredible insight of how to use this as well. So from here, you start seeing, okay, now it's more very deep consideration. Okay, I'm really looking at between, let's say, two brand, Casper versus Purple, soft versus firm. What soft matches? How does it different from firm matches? What does it do to my back pain? So you see, if you keep covering these kind of demand and you already have the first demand layout, go into this, you will be able to easily drive them into your seller page, which is your brand demand, which you have to have it and then to cover for people who decide to buy. So after you're done with the consideration is maybe comparing, maybe looking to specification and all that for looking for occasion, how to when to buy matches is best. So you see, then you go to transactional. This is the bottom of that. It's a tofu mofu bofu. This is bofu, and this is where people start to considering making the purchasing decision. Maybe maybe this is where to buy purple matches, right? This is very close. There's a very thin line between bofu and your brand demand, because by the time they get here, they are already deciding whether they want to buy the stuff that you buy, you provide, right? So making sure that tofu, mofu, bofu structure in a way that cover all the intention of end users when they try to make their buying journey happen. So this is the same with almost any product and service. You could just use it for your using Wildcard. Just use it to kind of play around with, I mean, this is very basic because we don't have a lot of time to cover, but you can just play around with so many different use cases, how to best of star matches, comparisons. I mean, there's so many use cases that you could explore on your own time that you just need to kind of go in and then play around with it. Okay, so that is basically the use case for second tier websites where you really want to compete on direct demand, right? On non-direct demand though, this is where every brand should really cover, but not to put too much resources. Maybe 20% of your resources should definitely go into non-direct demand, and particularly into market where it's more competitive, right? Like matches is an extremely competitive market. That's why a lot of big brands, they actually try to cover even before that. So they know sleep is the problem, every pillar, the softness and all that stuff. They will try to cover those kind of demand as well. So that's one. And now another use case, I think we have three use cases: search engine, brand monitoring, I say already, e-commerce, product user insight. Again, the same thing. You have a product like matches or phone or refrigerator, I don't know what you guys sell. Anything, you could definitely use Wildcard to extract direct insight from your end users. All right, so the final use case here I want to briefly walk over is blog reviews. So as you know, blogs has several type of things, but one of the things that you could really utilize Wildcard is let's say you write your blog is regarding about all reviews best of, right? And so I did something here on Wildcard for best of. Let's say you reviews restaurants in Boston area, so it would be like best restaurant Boston or best in Boston. Let's say you review everything lifestyle in Boston, so you just do best Boston. And you'll see they talk about restaurant, they talk about brunch, talk about hotel, bar, pizza, seafood, sushi, food, a lot of insight that you could really look into here. Views, salad, jewelry, nachos, golf course. So one single search, a best star with location, you will have right away every insight possible people actually searching when they go to Boston. So if you do a blog regarding, let's say, local blogs, And every traveler who go into a certain cities, you want to be the place where people go in there and ask. Just go into Wildcard, search in there, put in the location that you have, and then basically write about those. Right? If you are travel blogs, you go to Boston, you write about Boston, and then you go into other city like New York, Vermont, Seattle, Portland. Just search, and it will appear right away onto your screen exactly what people search for when they go to that cities. As a blogger, this is like more than anything. If I would be a blogger, there would be like just a huge relief of how I can look for insight to write about stuff, right? And so this is one of the things. Or you can do comparison. Comparison insight is also another great thing, like I did earlier, purple versus. So you can star versus star restaurant, right? So then you can have like a bunch of different insight on that. Best New York City restaurant, best selling New York Times, best brunch. You see a lot of different sort of insight for you to look using Wildcard as a blogger. That's comparison. You can also do how-to guide. So I think I did one earlier. You can do a how-to guide. Let's say how to start dinner. I mean, I don't know. Would just try it out. And so if you write recipes, right, and you want to know what people looking for, dinner recipe, what people looking for when they ask about dinner, how to prepare, how to cook, how to whatever it is. I mean, how to probably not the best keyword, but it could be how start dinner. Just play around with the keyword and then see what the data show you, and from there you can probably use a use case. How to make, how to cook, how to pronounce, how to skip, how to plate a steak, how to set utensil. Dinner table set. Wow, how to eat crawfish, eat dragon fruit. This is incredible. Even this, if you write an article about how to eat a dragon fruit, you probably can get rank on top, because nobody teach you in terms of content, but there's only a YouTube channel that do it. At 27,000 search on Google. So you see, it's the world. You have to understand, Google search is the most underrated data set in the world, right? This is here where you could understand the deepest need and demand of your end users, only if you know how to look for it, right? So play around with Wildcard. You can do purchase guidelines, you can do how-to guidelines, you can do recipe, cooking, you can do anything using this to ask for very specific demand. Best recipe for example. I think I searched it before. This is great. See, best recipe for chili, meatloaf. If you want to write a recipe blogs, right, just do this. You will be able to sort right away. It's like 2.7 million search a month. It's a huge demand for this type of best recipe blog. So as you can see, I mean, I don't know your specific use case. This is all I could come up in a short period of time. But what I'm saying is there's a huge potential of what you can accomplish when you know what you look for. Every day there's 8.5 billion searches, and 20% of them are new. So 8.5 billion searches, to put in perspective, is 220 something million searches per hour. It's insane. It's an insane amount of searches appear every 2 hours on Google. If only you know how to capture, how to categorize, how to understand demand generation and capture on search engine, you'll be able to know or plan your content resources for months or years if you start with NLP blocks without having to, oh, what do I do? What is keyword research? Don't worry about keyword research. These are just the data. All you need to do is to utilize the tool that we provide for you to extract those really quality demand insight and data and plan for your own strategic planning. Don't waste time on doing all kind of stuff that doesn't capture and that doesn't convert. And make sure that you write content that fit exactly with what they look for. Don't try to shortcut it. You may be able to shortcut one time, two times, but you're not going to be able to shortcut for millions of times, right? So from here, utilize our cluster, utilize our forecast, utilize our golden filter, group them into different group topics inside, and then set them to plan, put into our content creator, start writing it, or assign like a freelancer to write it. Once you have team function, you'll be able to even manage and cooperate. We'll improve our AI optimization soon within this year as well. You'll be able to kind of write your blogs a lot faster with a lot higher quality, with more factual turnouts and all that stuff. It will come. But all I'm saying is none of that will work if you don't know how to utilize the tool itself. So we'll try to build this into more series of educational purposes where we break down into segments of industry, for example, SEO for e-commerce, keyword research for blogs, keyword research for brands, search monitoring on search engine for brands, things like that, so that each of the industry or for each of the needs of you guys will be able to understand, oh, okay, there's different way of doing keyword research. You have to find one that fit with you best, fit with your market, fit with your demand. And from there, you will build your own content strategy. And this doesn't just work for SEO, this works for ads as well. So once you see all this insight, you'll be able to kind of classify out which keyword you want to build for organic planning or strategy and which keyword you want to build for ads later on, right? So with that in mind, please, make sure you utilize the tool itself. Let me quickly try to go over some of the questions here. I know we already get to okay, we have the first question is question. How about integrating full NLP semantic SEO using Python, semantic internal linking, internal topic modeling, semantic keyword clustering, NLP entities, and key phrase extraction, NLP entity schema structure, date, link, open data, extraction of keyword and key phrases at the header level using those optimized content. Check out semantic musing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these kind of things we definitely will plan on doing in future, but it doesn't. I mean, it's important, but it's secondary to search user intent. You want to make sure that the keyword you choose or the title you write appealing to the people who read it. So let's say you get on top the table, right? Each top of the search page, but the topic or the title that you wrote has nothing resonate because it was written by NLP or semantic SEO and whatnot. Nobody gonna click on it. If you write the correct title, people will have a tendency to click on your website more. And what you want is people click. And what you want even more is people read your stuff and engage with your stuff and click on your internal linking and stay on your site. Because if you have that, you have everything. You have that, you will have trust from Google, you have trust from users, you have sales. But if you don't have any of that, it doesn't matter how many keywords you rank or matter how many title amazingly optimized by this insanely great technology. Users don't care. So we'll probably have this, but not to this level because I don't think it's I mean, we have NLP entities already by Google. You don't need a Python. Use Google because that's the source of truth. You're dealing with Google. You try to rank on Google. You want to use their NLP. Why do you want to use like Python? The Python is just a language code, right? So we'll probably have schema structure and all that stuff. but that will be on our next optimization. When writing a pillar post in Shopify, I have option to create links within a product page that can link to a specific area related product. In an acne cream product might link to different causes of acne, how to treat them. I have ability to create individual pages on Shopify, which could be a pillar post on acne in general, or create a blog post. What's the best option regarding setting this out? I have approximately 50 products that I want to create pillar posts for. Should I create an individual Shopify page and have supporting subtopic as blog posts, or should all the posts be in blogs? Not sure what the best way to set it up, or SEO and usability. I think one of the things you can learn is actually using, look for Casper or Purple. I think Casper do a really good job organizing their pillar page and their product page. So as you can see, they were writing how to fall asleep, for example. This is a blog. This is their blog page, blog/how to fall asleep. But then, so this is where you want to see, you see, your product page should definitely a brand demand, because it's directly pull on your brand, and it has potential conversion the highest potential conversion is a brand demand, right? But anything that is direct demand or non-direct demand, you probably want to put them into blog and link them into your product page, because from blogs you could actually has a lot more flexibility to build your structure, adding more content, adding more picture, showcase in a way that you can give them values and not appearing too salesy, right? This is where you show them that you want to give values and convert them by showing to them that, hey, I have a trusted source, and if you want, you can check out our product. It's over here. So I would say that would be a good idea to structure it that way, particularly if you have a Shopify. Just build a blog page, and from that, on the blog page is where you want to capture everything SEO, everything from direct and non-direct demand. You go into there, and from there you just build your pillar, different main pillar. Let's say acne. In here you say it's acne in general. So let's say cost of acne. That could be one of the pillar page. From there we have different subtopic, but that should be in a non-branded demand segment, and that should be in the blog. Okay. Will Ratizen include NLP for French? Unfortunately, at the moment, since we only buy NLP provide from Google, and Google only support, I think at the moment, Spanish, Japanese, and English. So we can only support that for now. But I'm sure that information will come soon. Topic Discovery give me a content. I don't know how to start from, like Climaster. It's a nonsense result, only compared to a brand itself, not informational. Yeah, I mean, topic discovery, the way we work is that we actually pull the data directly from your top 100 URLs. So there will be a lot of subtopic that actually doesn't make sense. So you can just disregard them and only choose one that makes sense with higher search volume, because that represents demand. And make sure that it serves as a reference purposes. So you see as, okay, if there's a main topic here, these are all the things that your competitor also talk about. And so therefore, it's probably a topic that your end users are interested as well. So make sure you kind of use it, but use it with what's the word? Cautions. Yeah. So you make sure that you understand which topic works, which topic that you want to choose. Don't have to choose everything. Can I get recording tomorrow, Wildcard? Yes. We'll have all this report. We'll have all this scan out. Since this is actually a video record, video replayed. Yeah, put my face bigger a bit. The GPT-3 is in use in most other tools, but honestly, Ryzen isn't producing quality. We just got optimized. Please try again. We've just did a huge optimization on the quality of the AI writing itself. It will there's one thing in which we want to add on a little more before we launch out is the Write For Me template. So once that's done, will improve everything all at once. Even with the flow, we'll add on to the flow as well to make sure that you have better flow working with our AI, and our AI could actually provide you with exactly the content that you need. That it's already, I think, is a phase 1 of optimization. So you play around with different templates, you will see that the content already improved tremendously.
how reliable is the search volume? Search volume we drive directly from Google search database. So here. So this is developer. Okay, so we are Google partners. So there's a very few. I think not many company are actually are considered Google partners. So we are actually a website with a tool that has basically a badge of Google partners, so that we could actually go into Google developer API things here. Oops. Search volume API. Keep planning. So over here, as you can see, these are all ad, asset, billing, campaign. So oh, this is Google Ads, but anyway, it should have historical group, historical metric, generate forecast, all this stuff. So this is where we get our API, our keyword. It's here probably. Oops, no. Oh, here. Historical metric. Searches, generate matrix, it's all in here. So this is exactly where we get all our keyword data. So it's directly from the source. We don't get it from anywhere. We don't try to do it ourselves. There's no server from outside. We pull directly from Google database, including Google Suggest inside and everything. So that should ensure the integrity of the data you search for. Okay, so over here I only get some of these questions. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. All staff will actually collect and make sure that once we have everything, all questions in, I will do another session with Q&A and make sure we cover as much as possible for all your queries. So with that, thank you very much for listening in. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and hopefully we can launch out some of the new very exciting updates soon. I'm so sorry for all the waits, and sorry that I cannot be there live to answer a lot of the questions, but I hope the session today has been helpful for you and helpful for your plan.